Welcome to Solo Shot First, and today we are going to be going back to the Star Wars Saga Collection to have a look at the Gungan Rep Bean. I think that's how it's pronounced. I hope it is. I've got to say, with regards to these card backs, certainly for this sort of series in the Saga Collection, I think these are really, really nice. I mean, you've got a lovely image there, which is obviously Rep Bean from the actual film itself, and then obviously behind the figure in the bubble, I'm not sure you're going to be able to see this properly, just quite simply because of the light. It's meant to be it's a forest. I don't know if you can, if I bring that in. Apologies of the light here, if you can actually see that, but that's a forest backdrop behind, which is quite nice. You've obviously got the lovely Star Wars logo, the Saga Collection logo down in that bottom right-hand corner, and it obviously says just up at the top there, Episode 1 from The Phantom Menace. Now, I don't actually recall seeing this character that much. It's probably one of those sort of blink and you miss it type ones. But I think, as I said before, I've originally sort of watching The Phantom Menace, I was a bit like, wasn't quite 100% sure on it, but actually over the years it's sort of grown on me quite a lot, and I just like the idea of obviously having more of the Gungans, really, I suppose, as many as you can get. I know there obviously are different types. I think I've sort of covered that previously, but so here we have Rep Bean. So a nice looking front of the actual card back. Let's have a look at the back. Okay, so yeah, on the back, it does tell you a little bit more about it, of Rep Bean himself from the Battle of Naboo. It says, as a trusted advisor to the Gungan Boss Nass, Rep Bean is a respected voice in the Gungan government. His primary responsibility as keeper of ancient records gives him access to a number of secrets hidden to most other Gungans. Apologies, because it's so small, that writing. He fully supports Boss Nass's decision to evacuate the sacred place during the crisis on Naboo. So that just gives you a little bit more background on the actual figure itself. And there's a nice image there on the right-hand side of the actual figure out of its packaging. And then obviously a still from the film of Rep Bean actually in that top right. You've got a lovely image here on the back of other figures that were part of this wave, and there's some quirky ones there. I won't read all of those out. Some of them are obviously sort of quite standard, like Luke and Vader, Emperor, etc. But it does also appear to come with, it does come with that hologram figure. So quite nice detailing on the back of the actual packaging. So one just final look at the front. As I said, I apologise for the light in here. You can see the light is probably reflecting off of the window, so it doesn't unfortunately give you a good opportunity to sort of see that background. But it is quite nice, I suppose. It's quite nice, those background. Anyway, let's get this figure out of the packaging and have a look. Okay, so here he is, freed from his bubble. Now, I'll start here really with the articulation on this figure, because it is very, very limited, and understandably so, just quite simply by the nature of the garments that he's actually wearing. So in terms of the articulation, there is no articulation whatsoever at the head, and there's nothing really at the shoulders. The only real articulation that you have on this figure is there is like I suppose a swivel, if you want, really. It's just in the forearm. It's not actually at the elbow. And there is a swivel at the wrist. And exactly the same with that. His right arm. I've got that staff in there. It does swivel. Let me just take that staff out. Sorry. And bring him closer. It does swivel a little bit backwards and forwards. But again, just quite simply because of the nature of the gown that he's actually wearing, there is no real articulation there at all. And obviously he's got the sort of very fixed feet, and this is a really hard goods cape on the actual figure itself. So it is quite limited in terms of the articulation. However, the actual attention to detail is really, really nice. If I bring this figure in for a close-up, just so you can actually see. Nice detailing on that. I suppose you'd class that really as almost some sort of mask that he's actually wearing there. It's sort of like a nice dark green. I'm not sure this video is going to show, and it's got some sort of light green specks in it, sort of flecks, if you like. And the robe, actually, some really nice detailing on the front of that robe. As I said, this is all a really hard goods plastic, so there's no movement in there at all. So there's going to be limited options in terms of what you can do with this figure. Let me just pop that staff back in. Yeah, so very, very limited on the articulation side, but I was aware of that anyway. At the end of the day, you know, I got this figure quite simply just because I wanted to try and collect some more Gungans. And, you know, if you're going to put him in a diorama scene, then you could probably put him, obviously, alongside Boss Naz, I suppose, which would probably be the best thing. The only sort of accessory you do get with it is that staff that I've shown you, and there's not a great deal to report there. And you do get this hologram. I think that's possibly Obi-Wan, but I'm not 100% sure. But, you know, those things are a little bit of a nice touch. Bizarrely, it also does actually come with this this nice Phantom Menace stand, which you just do not need at all with this figure, quite simply because of his that hard goods plastic is you know, going to get him standing. But as I said, this would actually, you know, yes, while it's very limited, it will still look really, really good in a diorama. If you've got, you know, a lot of Gungan warriors, you know, Jar Jar and Boss Nass, etc., it would look really, really good. And what I would like to do eventually is obviously get a number of those and sort of create some sort of diorama, which would be really, really nice to sort of put quite a few Gungans in. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe, please do. There'll be more videos coming shortly. If you've got any questions or comments on this actual figure, I'm not sure there'll be many, but if you do, please leave them in the comments section below and I'll come back to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.